Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to give you my 3 A-Class builds that I'm going to be using this week in the A-Class Open Series. Now, let's start off with car number 1. This is the 2014 FPV Limited Edition Pursuit UTE. Either way, this Ford has been tuned for A-Class, and right off the bat we've changed the 5-litre V8 for a 5-litre V8. Drivetrain, we have a stock drivetrain, no body kit. I didn't opt for the I want to kill you look. I kept it normal and kept the body kit on stock with a naturally aspirated aspiration. Heading to aero and appearance, we've got the race rear wing, the race front bumper, stock rear bumper and stock hood. Drivetrain, a street clutch, race transmission, sports driveline and a race differential. Wheels, we've gone for the Speedline F1s because they are the lightest. Tyres, we've got race tyre compound with a 295mm front tyre width and a 315 rear tyre width. Over to platform and handling, we've got race brakes, race spring and dampers, front and rear race anti-roll bars and a race weight reduction. We've installed a roll cage with no ballast. In engines, we've gone for the camshaft. This is what will give you the high speeds. And in fuel and air, we have everything completely stocked. So let's hop into the build. So the tune itself, we're going to start with tyre pressures. Now we've got 32.0 and 31.5 psi. The gearing ratio, I just kept it as this really. I mean, you can always 610 it and change the individual gears, but I just thought I'd be a bit different. Alignment, we've got negative 1.9 on the front camber, negative 1.4 on the rear. Toe, we have front and rear on 0 with a front caster of 7 degrees. Over to anti-roll bars, we've got 17.74 on the front and 19.7 on the rear. And the front spring rate is at 703 pounds and the rear is at 600.3. Ride height, that is the lowest it could be, 4.4 inches front and 6.7 inches on the rear. Damping, we've got 4.5 front bump stiffness and the rear is at 4.2. And in rebound, we've got a 9.7 front rebound and a 9.5 rear rebound. Roll center height, I've got 6.3 on the front and 4.7 on the rear. And the anti-geometry, the anti-dive's at 25% and the anti-squat is at 10.6%. Aerodynamics, the front is at 75 pounds and the rear is at 75 pounds. Braking force, we've got the balance at 50 and the pressure at 150. And the differential is at 100% and 0%. This car is a bit of a machine, I'm not going to lie, really has surprised me. And it's definitely a car that you should add to your arsenal. Car number 2 is the Toyota Camry, the 2023 Toyota Camry TRD. So let's hop into this build. This is more of an all-round tune. It will do slightly better on acceleration tracks than grip, but it's a car that you can just hop in and use pretty much everywhere. So let's hop into the build itself, and starting with conversions, we've got the engine swap as the 3-litre V8. The drivetrain has been swapped to rear-wheel drive, and with this one I've actually installed the body kit. The aspiration conversion has been left standard. Aero and appearance, the front you cannot adjust on this unfortunately, but the rear wing is on race. Over to drivetrain, we've got a stock clutch, a race transmission, stock driveline and a race differential. Wheels, we've got stock front rim size, 20-inch rim size on the rear, and these Team Dynamic Racing Imolers are the alloys I've selected. They're not the lightest, but I think they're not far off one of the heaviest. So yeah. Tyres, we've got a race tyre compound, a 255mm front tyre width and a 295 rear tyre width. Platform and handling, we've got race brakes, race spring and dampers, race front and rear anti-roll bars, a race weight reduction, no roll cage in this, but we do have an extra light ballast. Heading to engine, we've got stock valves, stock displacement and stock oil and cooling. Fuel and air, we've got a stock fuel system, ignition, exhaust and a stock air filter. So with those parts all installed, now let's get into the tune. So starting with tyre pressures, this is 31.0 psi front and 32.0 psi on the rear. Gearing, we're back to the 6:10 ratios, so we've got 6:10 and these are each individual gears ratio. Alignment, we've got -1.7 front, -1.3 on the rear, front toe 0, rear toe 0 and a front caster of 7.0. Anti-roll bars slightly stiffer on the front this time, 21.0 on the front and 18.08 on the rear. Springs, we've got 600.1 pounds on the front and 800.1 pounds on the rear, so slightly stiffer at the rear, and the front and rear ride height are at the minimum 4.7 inches and 4.7. Damping, so we've got probably stiffer than you're used to seeing, but we've got 5.1 front bump and 5.3 rear bump, with a rebound stiffness 6.6 on the front and 7.5 on the rear. Probably a bit strange, I know, but it works. Roll center, we've got 5.5 inches on the front, 4.7 on the rear, with an anti-dive at 30.7% and an anti-squat at -14.7. Aerodynamics, can't do anything to the front, but the rear is just above minimum at 130 pounds. Braking balance and pressure, we've got 50% and 150% pressure, with an acceleration of 72% and a deceleration of 10%. Hope you enjoyed the Toyota Camry. Do give it a burn and let me know what you think. now let's move on to the third and final car, which is the 1993 Porsche 928 GTS. This was selected by one of the lads in the Discord, and on this Discord there's a channel where you can just relay what cars you want tuning, and hopefully I can get it thrown in one of these videos. So if you want to get involved, it's in the comment section down below, but let's hop into the Porsche 928. So starting with conversions, we've got the 2.5 litre inline 5 turbo, and for drivetrain we have left that stock, still rear wheel drive. So we've got aero and appearance, we've got the race rear wing with a race front bumper this time. Drivetrain, we've got a stock clutch, race transmission, race driveline and a race differential. Wheels, we've got the 19-inch front rim size and a stock 17-inch rear rim size. And these are the alloys I've installed, the OZ Racing Ultraleggera HLT CL. Now tyres, we've got the race tyre compounds with a 265mm front tyre width and a 315mm rear tyre width. Brakes, we've got race brakes, springs and dampers, front and rear race anti-roll bars, a race weight reduction, a race chassis roll cage, and no ballast installed. For engine, everything is completely stock, and in fuel and air, we have stuck the race exhaust on. And now let's get into the tunes. So the tyre pressures are at 29.5 psi on the front, 30.5 psi on the rear. Gearing, we have a 6.10 final drive, with these being the individual gear ratios. Alignment, negative 2.0 front, negative 1.4 on the rear, with 0 toes and a 7.0 degree caster. Over to anti-roll bars, we've got 19.0 on the front and 25.07 on the rear. A lot of rear grip mid-corner, and I just had to use that anti-roll bar to maintain that rotation mid-corner. Springs, we've got 525.1 on the front and 575.0 on the rear. Quite a balanced out car, with a ride height of 6.4 inches front and 6.9 inches on the rear. Damping, the bump stiffness is at 4.3 and the rear bump stiffness is at 4.7, and the rebound stiffness is 7.5 on the front and 8.0 on the rear. Now, suspension geometry, we have the front roll centre height offset at 5.1 inches and the rear at 5.1 inches too. The anti-geometry percentage is at 24.9% for anti-dive, and anti-squat we've got minus 10.4, and anti-squat we've got minus 10.4. For aero, this is going to be your grip build, so the small twistier tracks. We've got maxed out front and maxed out rear, at the front being 114 pounds and the rear being 228 pounds. Brakes, the balance is at 50 and the pressure is at 150, and the acceleration is at 100% and the deceleration is at 0. If you made it this far, please do like, comment and subscribe if you're brand new. Join the Discord, the link is in the description. I want to see you all there. I hope you enjoy the video. As always, take care of yourselves and stay tuned for more.